Welcome back to Pen and Prosper, a podcast where JC Lawrence is coaching me, Melissa Delport, to be a six-figure author, and we are putting it on the internet. Hello, friend.
Hi, Delport. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm very, very well. So my
Good.
brain is still a little broken from this
Mhm.
episode. We just had the privilege of interviewing Rob Watt, who is yet another husband backing his wife, running all her marketing. And as a change, we spoke to him more about AMS instead of Facebook ads, which is a huge part of my strategy going forward when we do our strategy session. I was looking at it more for quarter 3. Yeah, what a nice, nice man. And you say
Such a
his
nice
wife is
guy.
just as lovely.
So she's just as lovely, and we met in Seville actually, and they're just like the perfect little husband and wife team. And yeah,
So
everyone
nice.
loves them. They're fantastic.
And don't be alarmed if you see the first few seconds of this episode has been cut off. We did push record just a few seconds in, so we will begin with Rob speaking. But yes, so Amazon ads
Alarmed is a
and
strong word, Delport. It's a strong word.
don't be alarmed. Don't be alarmed, you guys.
I'm sure they won't be, but thank you. Thank you for the trigger warning.
You're welcome. Before we dive into Rob's episode, we would obviously like to say a huge thank you to our paid subs, to our editor extraordinaire, Elize, and to the ebook and book formatting software we could not live without, Vellum, our paid sponsor. We are so grateful.
Vellum link. It's tryvellum.com/pen and prosper if you want to try Vellum out for their beautiful formatting software. And yes, let's dive in and we'll chat again at the end.
Yeah, so she's got a romantic comedy series and a Regency romantic comedy series, but they're the same family through history because she likes to write about this particular family. She's currently writing a Victorian series that slots nicely in between because of writing in series, we only have 2 advertising entry points, one at the Regency and one at the Contemporary. We're particularly big in America with the Regency series. The Regency series is a 9-book series, and then there's a spin-off of their children. So there's 4 already in that. So it's a 13-book series at the moment. There will be more.
Wow. How
Uh,
many books in total
So
do you have at the moment?
26.
26. Okay.
Well, 27 by the end of this month because she's sat in the dining room at the moment looking up over Tordo writing the next one.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so there's 26, 27, but we're translated into 5 languages. So we're predominantly in German, Spanish, and Italian for our own translations, and the rights for Portuguese and Slovakian, would you believe?
Okay.
With
That's
somebody else
interesting.
to translate for us. And we're audio books across the whole of the English language, and we've also got an audiobook contract with Germany as well, with
Oh,
the
wow.
German sisters
Okay.
as well. So all with one particular company who
Okay.
enjoy her books. So we've stayed with them throughout.
And those translations you did yourself, Rob, how did you?
No, early on we made a decision to farm out the translation. If we're brutally honest, we only really started making significant money at the end of 2023, beginning of 2024.
Oh, so it was a while ago.
Oh yeah, and we couldn't really afford to do the translations, and I'd retired in order to work Bev, and in order to keep our lifestyle, we said we need to farm some stuff out that we're not going to be able to do ourselves initially. So we did contracting, or we were in a profit share for the audios.
Yeah.
Translations, we decided to hold on to the ones we definitely wanted to do ourselves, and we've been slowly working those
Oh,
through.
great. Okay.
So, and our German translator is firing them out at 1 a month at the moment, which is
Wow.
we're
Wow.
fast, but she's very good.
Amazing.
We're trying to keep up with publishing them as quickly as she pulls them out because Germany's become quite a big market for us.
And would you consider doing more foreign language audiobooks?
Yes, but if we like who we work with, so we work with WF House in the UK. Well, they're part of RB Media, and it's RB Verlag who've taken the German translations on. The Spanish translations, we tried to get a contract with them as well, but the Spanish translations are done in America, and their catalogue at the moment is very full for recordings. So they're going to come back to us, but at the moment they're not. But Germany have taken everything we've translated so far, so
Wow, amazing.
they've been very keen. So that's kind of moved the translation. So we're happy with the quality of their recording productions. That was kind of why we decided to go with
Yes.
somebody
Brilliant.
quickly in order to
Brilliant.
maximize real estate.
Okay. So not only do you have 27 books, but you also have them in different languages, different
Yeah.
formats. So you really are making the best of the magic pie or whatever it's called. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've and both of our daughters now work for us as well. So Frankie, our younger daughter, does all of the social media because she understands TikTok and we don't.
Yes.
So the dreaded TikTok. And then, and she also does the Instagram as well, which works brilliantly. And then our other daughter is doing merchandising. Thank you to DJ Green, who has
Yes.
introduced that so many times to us that she's now completely on top of turning that.
Oh, that's great.
Well. So that's they're both. Normally they're sat in the office behind me, as I said.
Okay.
Oh, you
I've
picked them
thrown them
out.
out. Yeah.
Okay.
How
wonderful.
long have you been publishing? I'm just looking and I see a lot from 2020, but I saw one title that's sitting at 2015 released. That's
Yeah.
according to Google.
Yeah. So Bev wrote her first book. We were the story of our life. I was in the Royal Navy before I retired. I was a submariner. Bev was working teaching English language at the foreign cadets who were at the Royal Naval College in Dartmouth. We live in Paignton, so just over the hill from the Dartmouth Naval College. I came down on the staff in Dartmouth in sort of 2005, and Bev and I started going out, and then we're both second time round marriages, so we've got kids elsewhere, none between us, just lots of dogs. But when we got married, I was posted back up to Scotland and was just outside Glasgow, and that's 500-mile round trip weekends. So, and Bev was working a Monday to Friday at the college. I was going to sea, coming back, going to sea, coming back. And we were struggling with our long distance relationship. So we tried to find a way around that. So Bev said, I've always wanted to write. We were in a position where she could give up that job and start writing. She wrote a couple of books. The first in 2015. I presume you're looking at An Officer and a Gentleman Wanted, which was her first book.
This I say Sweet Victory.
Oh, no,
yes, it is. Number 2.
Yeah, but Claiming Victory was the first in the
First one,
which is
okay.
fictitious, but the one before that was based on her time at the college, An Officer and Gentleman.
Oh, sweet.
It's loosely based around our romance.
We'll have to read it.
But no, I am nowhere near as bad as it makes me out to be. But that was how she started, and then we've got grandchildren, and one of our grandson is severely autistic, and so she took a break from writing for a few years. COVID came around. By then I'd retired.
Yeah.
I'd retired from the Navy. I was doing that I didn't particularly enjoy very much. Bev said, well, I can really start writing again. And she did. Grace came out. Grace was so successful, Regency romantic comedy, that we thought, you know what, there's probably an opportunity for me to do something slightly different.
Oh, wonderful.
And 2022, somewhere around 2021, she started really pushing the series. And by the time we got to the end of 2023, I was able to retire and join her doing the business. It was an amazing year. I could do no wrong. 2025 was nowhere near as good.
I love hearing stories like this. I just love it. I mean,
It's become quite popular for men to be
so many people's
marketing their wives' books.
Yes.
We keep saying this to each other all the time. I couldn't, she says, I couldn't do it without you, and neither can I do it without you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in Seville, we did the keynote presentation this year, and we have a joke about the creative line. And she says, you're not allowed to cross the creative line. And we're absolutely true. She's good with words, I'm good with numbers, and we work fine together. So it just...
Yeah. Perfect team.
Hopefully. We're still married, so yeah.
It's working well enough.
Yeah.
What was your talk in Seville about, Rob?
We talked about 5 to 7 figures in 2 years, one mistake at a time.
Wow.
I love that.
We talked about the 9 big mistakes we'd made over the course of our publishing career. So however short it is, but the main problem was one, I was too confident at the beginning because everything worked.
Yes.
In 2025, I came down with a bump. Both of us love fantasy, but she picked to write in a genre that she wanted to write in, and then we discovered that K-Lytics keep telling us that is the most competitive genre writing in. So if we'd have really looked at it as a business, we should have written in something completely different. But she's good at what she writes, so we're able to sell it. So that's really good.
It seems like you guys are doing okay.
Yeah, we are. We're doing nicely. We're doing nicely, and it's got bigger because the kids have had to come in with us because we've needed the extra support. So
Amazing.
Yeah, that is so lovely. It's such a nice story, like a real family business.
Yeah, awesome.
Because authoring is normally traditionally seen as such a solitary profession, but you've managed to make it a family business. Which I love.
We have, but if you saw us on the beach, we have a beautiful, we live in Paynton right on the seafront, and we walk our dogs down the beach every morning to the local coffee shop. I won't tell you, but it's a big brand. But that's right on the beach. There's one beach in Paynton that dogs are allowed on all year round. We probably do more business in that hour walk down to the coffee shop and back again together than we do any other time. And sometimes Rosie and sometimes Frankie join us as well. So, we get a lot.
Okay.
And everybody thinks we're just taking an hour off, but actually we spend so much time just talking about it because
that's the proper walk of the day.
solitary aspect. I have to leave Bev alone now while she's finishing off the book. She'll give it to me to read first, and romantic comedy is obviously absolutely my genre to read in, and something that
being a Navy man and all. Does she make you blush? Rob?
Occasionally, there is just a little bit of steam in there.
I didn't know that.
Just enough.
As she says to all her readers when they say, is there a lot of steam? Well, there's about a page and a half in every book. You can skip past it without losing too much of the story. Occasionally, I blush.
Good to know.
I'm so interested in in what you have to say, specifically because Facebook seems to be like, we've had loads of guests about, and Facebook is always the first port of call for most people with advertising. AMS seems to just be a different kind of monster. And I don't think it's easy to master. So if you have, I just think it's a rare skill set that you possess. So very interested.
I think the biggest problem with AMS, so we do Facebook advertising, AMS, and we're also very lucky to have lock screen, the display screen advertising directly with Amazon, both in the US. Well, we have the US at the moment, and as of today, I'm supposed to be starting in the UK as well with the UK team, because they're going to judge. We're going to use the same creatives in both countries and try to see how the performance works across the two countries. So that's been really exciting. And I look at the overall model of the fact that I've got AMS, Meta and the lock screen working together. And when I get a surge in sales on one, I generally get a follow-up surge in sales on the other two as well when I'm tracking across. So it is a really interesting model that, when something seems to take off on one, then it takes off on the other. And I'm also that if I get a good meta ad and people look at the ad but don't necessarily click the shop now button and they end up in Amazon because they've typed in Bev's name, then the Amazon ad claims the sale.
Yes.
It's been driven there by Facebook. If I've got a really good meta ad running, then sometimes my Amazon ads are taking off at the same time, but that's because they're being people.
Okay.
Yes.
But Amazon, so I cheat with Amazon, has to be said. I cheat. I've discovered ChatGPT. It's my best friend. Lies to me all the time.
We're picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Lies to me all the time. It tells me how good I am, and then I tell it take any money, and it says, "Oh yes, you're right." So let's have another go. I use Ricardo Fayette's system, the Amazon Ads for Authors. Started moving. I'd had Amazon ads running. We got some, like all of us, I never really understood Amazon ads. We employed somebody else to have a go to start off with. We thought they were doing a really good job, and then we discovered that they'd actually not touched them in about a year, but they were still working.
Oh my goodness.
So
Amazing. Easy money.
It was, but
there was no such thing.
the problem was that they hadn't. And one thing I've learned about Amazon ads is that it needs a very gentle hand, but it needs it almost once a week. Just keep going, because if you leave it alone, it's the spend slowly degrades.
Yes.
And the way through, it finds a better ROAS, but it trends and trends and trends till it's only spending £2 a day, and if you want to scale, it's a lot more difficult. So I've been getting in there now and getting each of my campaigns to run 130. Oh no, I'm looking at it now. 129 campaigns running.
Wow!
But they're organised into portfolios. So I use the portfolio system that the Amazon Ads has, where you can group each of the ads together, the campaigns together into a portfolio. And the campaigns work together in order to drive the Amazon. As I said earlier, we've got the Contemporary and the Regency. Regency is our biggest seller. Regency is where we started the translations as well. So this is my German set of translations for the last month. And if you share this group.
Oh, excellent.
So you can see that this is my German screen, as it were, last 30 days. So you can see I've managed to do what, £1,200 worth, £1,100 worth of advertising. Sorry, it's all in pounds. We've done what, £3,500 worth of sales and 616 KMP. You can
I
see
like that ACOS.
yeah, so the ACOS, some of my ACOSs are around, I try to target, a Ricardo system drives you to about 40%. So I deliberately try to get around the 40% mark because, that's great. And our biggest market, certainly in both Germany and the US, is KMP. So we actually earn a lot more through pages than we do through. I kind of hope that the sales match the spend, at least match the spend so it covers the spend, and then rely on the KMP to give us the profit. So that's my kind of benchmarking.
All the read through, which you don't see on the dashboard.
Absolutely. After 14 days, it disappears and then you're in a completely different place. But you can see down here, so Ricardo's system relies on you. So I used GPT to set up the system. I said, you are Ricardo Ferrier. You're starting me off as a new author. Go and research Beverly's books. These are the books that I intend to advertise. This is the series I'm after. Give me a starting structure. I want a budget of £60 a month or whatever it was. I can't remember what the original setup was, but £60 a month to start with. What's the starting structure? And it comes up, Ricardo's system takes you into starting off with all of these discovery systems. So you can see there, this is my funny lettering system that I use so that I can understand. So these ones here, everything that says discovery is where I'm trying to find the target keywords in order to use in the main drivers for sales. In the system as well, there's always some kind of brand defense as well. So at the moment, Germany hasn't got a brand defense, but I'll show you my brand defense in UK and US, which is where it's really strong. But you can see that these ones here, these ones that are out of budget, are deliberately out of budget now because they're no longer my big sales drivers. So I've off the budgets on them so that they're not wasting money. They still discover stuff. The budgets are all down at sort of €3 and €1. They just don't drive the money. So if you look down here at my auto discovery, which is actually an auto campaign, and the async discovery in Germany are the best workers.
Okay.
Now, I said that I've got 130 campaigns, 29 active at the moment. So these are my portfolios. So the Sisters, which is the Regency series, I have a campaign in Australia, a campaign in Spain, but that's a translated campaign, a portfolio in Canada, a portfolio in Germany, which is my translations, the one we've just looked at, and then this is UK and US. If I go to the US one for the last 30, this is a lot more mature one. So I started in the same way I was saying. At the end of every week, I represent to the last 30 days worth back to chat. Good discussion with it about what's working, what's not. It tells me to go in and look up my search terms, find new keywords, deliver them back in. So this is a much more mature campaign. There are 16 campaigns running. And the way the system works then is I've still got some discovery in there. This one here, optional visibility, is actually a sort of discovery campaign, but it's driving quite a few sales, but it's slightly more costly. There's some up here that are relatively low budget, which are just driving a little bit. And oddly enough, misspelling Bev's name seems to be a brilliant way of discovering new target. Because she's Beverly with an EY, but everybody drops the second E.
Okay.
And our surname is Watts with an S, but you'll be surprised. Well, you won't be surprised by how many people got the S as well. So all of our brand our brand defense has a lot of missed typed names in it as well. So
that's very smart.
So chat took me to it because when you do the search term reports, you can pull search term reports out of your Amazon advertising all the time out of each campaign and over a whole system. And there is a reporting structure down this side here. So where it's got measurement and reporting, these reports here. Yeah. If we go to that page, there you go, sponsored ad reports. Sorry, I'm in the right one. So in this one here, you can see you can pull up the sponsored ad search term reports. So there's a report there from March that I did where I pulled up the sponsored ads. And when you pull up the download, you get this kind of report, a big spreadsheet, but it shows you which of the campaigns the search term has come from. You can filter it by impressions, how many sales you've had from those individual. It then comes up with the actual search term that you've used as well. So these ones that are all numbers here, where it's targeted an ASIN. As I scroll down, you can see romance book series and Gracie books in order, more ASINs. It's a 30-day report, so it's going to go on for a bit. Spelt with Beverly Watts. Yeah, but it's such a good place to pull out the actual keywords that are doing so well. And by pulling out those keywords, you can really extract the data from it, and then you retarget those back in. So if I go back to...
Because the Amazon search bar, it's quite sensitive. If I try and check my ranks and I go into the search bar and I type Melissa Delport and I forget the L, it comes up with no results found. No results found. It's like, I couldn't possibly figure out that you want something like this. That's it. You broke me. It has to be spelled exactly how they're searching for it to come up.
Yes. So this is the big. I can see down here. I'm still in the American campaign. So these ones here. So the system, Ricardo's system, relies on finding the search words to start off with. So for the first month, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, you either lose a bit of money or you about break even. It's after that, when you found those key search words and you start really targeting into those, that you start making that money. But we saw that as an investment to find those search words. And in fact, those search words are the ones that we feed back into the Amazon teams for the display screens, particularly the comp authors. So where we've got comp authors who have appeared in so many of our search terms that we know have sold on Amazon, that's what's being targeted on our DSPs. All of those display screen ads go on to the same targeted comp authors. Okay. If they're appearing on somebody's Kindle, then the display screen ads are being displayed on their Kindles because they've got the author that we're targeting on that display screen. So that's how it works. And so I've used a lot of this data to feed back into the DSP teams, who then put the display screen stuff up as well. So I have a monthly meeting with the American advertiser, and she basically takes all of my data and reuses it, which has been so good.
Wow. With having so many campaigns, are you duplicating keywords quite often, or do you because there are only so many limited keywords, aren't there? Or do you have literally thousands of keywords?
No. So in the more broad ones, anything that says performance keyword or exact or phrase, they're down to the ones I've harvested out, and then they've gone into that performance phrase. But the moment I've pulled them into performance phrase or performance keyword, I negative target them in the auto campaigns. So the auto campaigns will never look for those keywords, because I want the people to go to the advert that is targeted specifically. So you're not competing. Yeah. So I use a lot of negative keywords. Every time I extract a keyword, it's then made as a negative within the auto. So
So do you start with an auto campaign, and then you start harvesting your keywords, taking them out of the auto campaign, and just let that kind of farm for you?
Absolutely. And that's why the auto campaigns are slowly dropping in budget, because this has been run for quite a long time now. The campaigns where my ACOS is really poor are actually harvesting campaigns.
Oh, I love that. That's such a good strategy.
So this one up here, is actually a performance keyword. The poorer ACOSs are generally because, or in fact, the ACOS is where I'm not getting anything, because the campaigns are so small now, because there's nothing against them, because they're just not providing me with what I wanted.
In terms of budget, your cost, your CPC, where do you cap it?
So if I've harvested a keyword out, then generally it's a lower CPC, because we're so good. We've obviously got the way that the Amazon system works for deciding whether to display your advert. And this is the big problem with Amazon, is that they're all about the reader experience. They're not about spending your money. They'd rather put an advert out that results in a sale, because that's where they get their money, than use all your money. Whereas Meta is entirely the opposite way around. And everything you say, and then they say, do you mind if we spend 50% more? But the Amazon is the other way around. So every advert is placed based on its relevance to the target and how much you're prepared to bid. So if you want to bid against an unrelevant target, you've got to put a massive bid against it, or else it just never get there. If it's that not relevant, then you're not going to get a sale there anyway. So it's that balancing act between, I need a higher bid to get out to new targets, which is why my auto campaigns, where I've negative targeted so much of what is now my money engine, as it were, is going and looking for some odd stuff here and there. But I've kept the budget really low because I know it's probably only going to put 4 or 5 impressions out in a week, but it might find that works. Whereas the money engine is a lot lower bids because I don't need to have a high bid because I'm bidding anyway because I'm so relevant. And Beverly's, the CPCs where I'm against Beverly herself, against her keywords, she's as relevant as you can possibly be. So the bids can be as low as you like. So we get thousands of impressions for our budget because we're relevant to that particular target. We need to win them all. We want to win them all. So occasionally we have to just raise the bids slightly in order to ensure we're getting the traffic because other people are obviously targeting her as well. That's the problem with when you're successful, people start targeting you as a comp author and they are trying to break into your market. There's enough to go round. I'm not worried about that, but it forces all of us to spend more on advertising against our own targets because and I do the same to everybody else. I'm targeting everybody else who's a comp author.
Yes.
There's a break-in point and a break-even. So you can see here some of these. So when I want to scale, what then happens is this one up here, you can see it's got dupe at the end. That's because I've already got, and SCAG is a single keyword group, advertising group. So I'm only using one keyword for this campaign. I'm putting a budget of $5 a day against a single word as a keyword because that's been extracted from my other keyword groups down here.
Oh, wow.
It is slightly higher because I know it's going to be successful. It means I get it out ahead of everything else, but it will return really well. And the reason it's got dupe against it is because that's the second one of these. So I've got 2 campaigns running. One, the bid is 1p more expensive than the other one, so that when that one runs out of budget, it drops back to the cheaper one. So so I can force the spend that way. So that's how I scale, is by continually bringing new keywords out that are really successful and making sure that I'm the winner on that bid and not being there all the time in order to return that.
It's becoming clear why people choose Facebook. This is very complicated.
This is what my Ricardo.
Oh, well.
You can see there's sort of page markers and tabs and bits of paper and all.
Yes. Look at you, nerds. Wait, let me just hit you with the Twilight or something.
But a lot of this paper at the back is actually where I've then gone into Ricardo's, gone into chat, printed out screen prints of what I want. And it's given me a formula to move forward with and how to scale and what I'm looking at and all of those bits. So the system starts off using auto and some of your own keywords as well. So I had about 4 campaigns to start with. So you can see the American system is now up to 16 campaigns. And it's been more than that because there are some that are now dead because I'm only showing the active campaigns, but there are some that have been dropped off the bottom because they're no longer active. So I probably had about 20, 22, 23 campaigns in total run throughout the whole of the time that I've been using this system. This is defense. So this is a absolutely built around our own product. So everything is in there is against our own product. And the defense campaigns as well, where it's a sponsored product, it's against the first book. Where I've got sponsored brand, defense sponsored brand, this one up here, that's the ones that appear as the video images across the top.
Yes.
I've used exactly the same creative that the display screen ads have been using. So I've linked it across both the UK, US, and our sponsored brand are the same creative. They were animated by Amazon for us as part of the display screen one that goes on the Fire tablet. And then I've used the same animation.
Okay. What kind of animation is it, Rob?
Well, so the one that's running, on my sponsored brand at the moment is a couple who are just who turn towards each other, smile, and they lean in for a kiss, but they don't quite make it.
Okay.
Is the one that's up on brand at the moment. America have just started running a Regency house with a carriage in front, and the carriage is moving across the screen. That's going to come back into our sponsored brand. Because UK advertising starts today. When UK advertising starts, then I'll put it across into the sponsored brand so it matches again. Because we're trying to work out I'm trying to work out whether the link across the 2 countries and the link to our sponsored brand will actually help deliver that, that whole system, as it were. Because
Okay.
I do believe that all of my advertising is a system, whilst Amazon is, I've been successful with Amazon. Part of that is because we're being successful elsewhere as well, I think.
Yes.
We would just like to take this time to tell you guys a bit more about Scribe Shadow. JT and I use Scribe Shadow tirelessly. We do all our translations through the app. It is incredible. Scribe Shadow is the perfect partner for indie authors who don't want to leave money on the table. They use cutting-edge AI to make novel translation fast, affordable, and super easy. In just minutes, your book can be translated into over 19 languages, and that is growing all the time with high-quality results ready to reach readers everywhere.
And this isn't some faceless tech giant. Scribe Shadow is a small family-run team with indie roots. They've been in the trenches running a small publishing press, so they get the author grind. That's why they built a tool that's practical, budget-friendly, and designed with indie authors in mind. Plus, they offer cover creation, audiobook translation, and a simple one-credit system for everything. Best of all, you keep full rights to your work, and your books are never used to train AI.
Scribe Shadow has been very generous and given us our very own coupon code, which gets you 30% off your first month of using the app. If you are looking at getting into translations, please would you consider using Pen and Prosper 30. That's PENAND PROSPER 30, and doesn't cost you any extra, and it just lets Scribe Shadow know that we are sending traffic to them and that we are supporting them. That was going to be my next question. Yeah, it was in your opinion, and I suspect you're going to say both, but I was going to say, do you think that Facebook or AMS are, which do you think is more effective in terms of advertising for authors in your experience?
I think they work in completely different ways. Without Facebook, we wouldn't find as many new people. I'm sure there are people come across from Facebook who have potentially never picked up a book at all, possibly. So I think our Facebook advertising is more shotgun effect, roughly at the target. The only targeting I do on Facebook is country, gender, and age. We're predominantly above a 30, 35 audience, although I ran Steve Higgs's synthetic audience thing and discovered that I was missing sort of 5 years worth, and maybe I ought to go down to 25, particularly on the contemporary, whereas the Regency seems to be just that little bit older.
Okay.
So I'm targeting on Meta, I target 35 plus, and most of our audience is at 65 plus. I can't do however much Meta keep asking me to use their Advantage Plus audiences. I can't, because I can't exclude men. And our audience is not male, despite me liking books. But that's the problem. So I've had to come out of that completely. And I follow Matthew Holmes's system for Meta, albeit that I've played around with his spreadsheet because we're advertising across so many different countries in different denominations. I've had to put a currency in because obviously Meta tells me everything in pounds.
Yes.
But I'm getting paid in Australian dollars and Canadian dollars and US dollars and Spanish euros and German euros. So what I've had to do is go in and do a conversion on Matthew's sheet. So on his ROAS sheet that he has about what figures you're going to say are keep running and scale up. I've got another table in there that I put the converter in, so it just does it automatically on the page for me, so I can see what the actual return is. Well, the other problem is as well that there is no attribution link for Australia. So I've basically said, well, anything that Amazon doesn't give me, I've attributed to Facebook. So I've got another spreadsheet I run. I love my graphs and my numbers.
It sounds like
another
Excel's your best friend.
It did, yeah. No, chat is my best friend.
Yes. But if you're gonna have an authentic relationship with chat, you have to give chat a name, or at least ask him to name himself so that he can call himself something.
I had a very interesting conversation with somebody who said that when they use chat, they use, I don't know if you've seen it, on the bottom of chat, there's a little microphone button that you can press and talk to it instead. And they said they're getting far better results when they talk to it than they are when they type, because when they type, they keep deleting what they put in their prompt.
That's what I do.
And when they talk, it comes out the way they mean. And even if they correct themselves, when they then press the action button, it gets more of a gist of because you're thinking out loud, it helps it think out loud. So I've tried doing that, but it gets far too personal. So I've decided to go back.
One of my tricks now to fly through work is to use Whisperflow, which is just a dictation app which edits and formats for you before you even have to look at it. And
Amazing.
the way I chat to Claude now is amazing because I can sit with my finger on the dictation button and like talk absolute nonsense and it just comes out beautifully and Claude knows exactly what I mean and it just makes the process so fast.
I wish I'd done that for this, then it would have all come out a lot quicker.
Rob, I have a question. What would your advice be? So you are obviously so knowledgeable in terms of AMS and it comes through, like you speak about it so naturally and I'm like going, oh, that sounds so hard. But what would your advice be for someone like me or like a lot of I think our subscribers are up and coming. They've now started dabbling in Facebook ads. Not many, I think, have really attempted AMS, or if they have, we've all kind of, I'll just use the royal R, we've all kind of failed. And what would your advice be for someone like me if I wanted to go in and just start testing Amazon ads on a smaller scale? Like in a nutshell, what would your very brief, like,
What's
this
the
is
first
what you
step?
would do if you were me?
So
Yes.
I would absolutely start with an AI engine to help you analyze it because it is complicated. The whole system is complicated and difficult. That's not right. Difficult's not the right word. It isn't. When you start to understand what it's trying to do and stop thinking of it as being like Meta, then you're absolutely in the right track. It won't spend the money unless you're on the right track.
Okay.
So whatever you do, don't keep increasing the bids to try and get it to spend the money because that's how you lose money. I know because I've done that twice and made an absolute licks of it. So, and it kind of needs you to interact with it. I would say no more frequently than a weekly basis, but at least a weekly basis. On my Spanish advertising on Amazon, I am making money, but not very much because Spain doesn't seem to like using the Amazon advertising. It just doesn't seem to work. I don't seem to get the same. People aren't typing in Beverly Watts, they're typing in Regency Romance, and they're not targeting Bev particularly. They seem to be a lot broader than that. So my Amazon advertising there, I'm down to a monthly review on it because it's just trickling through and I can't force the spend on it. I can't make it any better. My Meta advertising is a lot more effective in that country. I've got nowhere near the structure that you're currently seeing for America in there because it just doesn't like me to bring any of those. I can't find keywords that are really effective. So I've just got a very trickling audience across there. But because we're selling so well across the board, I'm able to just literally say, do you know what, that's giving me enough and it's keeping her high in the charts and all of those things. And that's what I was after in the first place. So whereas my Amazon advertising, and you get up and down days here. I mean, 16th of April, which is the day I'm displaying here, $50 worth of spend, $144 worth of sales and $28 worth of KMP figures. But there are days where I've spent $50 worth of spend and got $25 worth of sales and had $17 worth of KMP. I never look at it for any lesser period than a week because a week, and I generally look at 30 days because the 30-day period gives me a far better understanding of how it's working. This is a slow burning system. It's not like Meta where you feed £20 in and you 2 days later you've had £40 worth of sales. That doesn't work like that. So you can see over a 30-day period, still the ACOS of 30%.
Beautiful.
Got a really good read through on KMP, and I'm getting a really decent return on sales. And that's because this system has been built up, but it's taken me a long time to build those 16 campaigns, and it's currently due a review, which is why the actual sale at the cost has just crept up over here over the last few days because I haven't done a review recently. There's obviously some negative keywords I need to bring in because I'm sending money to something that isn't working.
Okay.
So, and this is where chat is absolutely brilliant because I'll sit down with it. I'll give it the last 30 days. I'm seeing an increase in spend. Having said that, I'm also an obvious increase in ACOS. So what's that? 29th of April, I was up at 71%. So it's not, there's something just gone on in there that I need to have a look at. But at the same time, my KMP has stayed pretty stable, maybe just dropped off a piece, and the sales have gone through the floor. But of course, in 14 days' time, that will be a slightly different curve because it will have contributed stuff back to that. Yeah. So the last sort of 7 days, I'm less twitchy about that last 7 days, because I know that the curve will change subtly over that period. And back here in the earlier part of the month of that 30-day period is where I'm more, across 20%, 13%. A bad day there was at 55%. So, and again here, it's going to level itself out there. But if I only looked at the last 2 weeks, I'd know that wasn't a true position.
Okay.
I need to a bit longer term with this one.
Rob, you said it took ages to get to where you are now. Like, what are we talking? How many months?
I started this in December.
In December. Okay, well, that doesn't sound too bad.
Not a long time.
Yeah.
And early on,
So-
every weekly review that I did was taking me an hour. But I'm now down to the weekly review I do on my two bigger ones, the UK and the US, takes me about 20 minutes, if that, for each one. And these portfolios, I said I use this portfolio system. So I've got Sisters and Diaries. I've got 4 portfolios on Diaries because they're only in English at the moment. So they're in Australia, Canada, UK and US. And then I've got these portfolios, but the smaller one, and then the Sisters portfolios, which are the 2 translations, Spanish and German. I've got a small one running in Italian because we've only got 2 out in Italian so far, but they're coming through every couple of months. And then I'll put Meta next to it once I've got 5 books out. I'll add Meta as well, and then I'll see a difference.
Okay.
And then I've got the Sisters in UK. So there's probably about 9 portfolios running. Each portfolio takes me about 20 minutes, and I try to do each of them once a week. So on my other side, I have a review tracking sheet, which has all of the dates when I did the reviews. Coloured ink, done them yellow if I'm skipping. So Spain is now on monthly review. So whilst it's broken out into weeks, it's on a monthly review. And if I've missed one, I'll put a red block in, so I know that one needs a definite run on next time. So it gives me that more, that drive.
Okay.
Keeping on top of there. But this is I recognize that this is my whole job. It's easy. I'm not having to write a book at the same time. It's easy for me to sit down in front of the numbers every day.
So if I wanted to set up a campaign, I'm going to start with a single campaign to say my urban fantasy series. I would get keywords, I'm assuming, from searching comps and doing, I think I still got rockets. So how many keywords would you say to start in a campaign that you now want to test to farm those keywords? And how long should you leave that campaign on to farm those keywords?
So my auto campaigns are still running. So I'm still farming keywords all the time.
And how many did you put in to start?
About 20 altogether, all helped by chat.
Okay.
Also, I'd got a number of Amazon campaigns running before, which I then scoured through. I stopped everything to move to this system, but I scoured through all found the keywords and used those back in. I was just trying to see if I could find with asking chat for, this is what I'm intended to do. Please search for these. Please search that. You are Ricardo Fayette. All of this sort of stuff. And the setup probably took me about 2 hours per portfolio because it was a series of campaigns. There were about 4 or 5 campaigns to start with. Brand defense, some product defense, so the 2 defensive campaigns, an auto campaign in order to search for keywords, and then a broad phrase campaign. So I used a phrase campaign that was with the ones that I thought would work. And then I used the 2 weeks or so, I did the search term report of the phrase and the auto campaigns that extracted first set of keywords, and I went into an exact campaign. And so the spend was very small at the start when you're doing that.
Okay.
But when I started doing that searching, I extracted those keywords into my exact phrases, in fact.
Rob, I'm thinking of the people who haven't read Ricardo's book and don't actually know how to actually start. What is step 1? What prompt are we using for step 1?
So I used a prompt that basically said, I wish to set up an Amazon advertising campaign using Ricardo Fayette's Amazon Ads for Authors system, advertising Beverly Watts's Regency romantic comedy series, The Shackelford Sisters. Talk me through the initial setup. And it gave me I then told it what I wanted to call it. And after that, it started giving me all of the sort of the structure of the campaigns. The early campaigns are only about 4 or 5 campaigns while you search for the keywords. And you then build and pull out those keywords over the next 4 weeks or so. And that's when you then start. So
chat will basically hold your hand through the process, and you don't have to know anything because chat knows and he will talk you through every step as you go.
That's exactly what happened. I basically did that whole process of if I work my way down this series here, that one is only been running for campaign start 5th of January, 10th of February for that optional visibility. This was one of the original ones here, Sisters Discovery Keywords. So this was a discovery way to find the keywords that I needed. So 8th of December for this performance keywords exact. You probably won't get one of those initially when you set it up. That was only because I'd got some previous Amazon advertising set up. So it was able to extract from that some keywords that I could set in the performance one. Performance phrase set up on the 8th of December. So that's exactly the same one as well that is working. This was an 8th of December. It says 5th of May 23, but that's because it was an adaptation of a previous one that I had previously set up. So I just adapted it, but that's actually 8th of December as well. 7th of December. So for the brand defense and sponsored product brand defense and sponsored brand defense. So those two just there, I set those up the first 2 days. Then you can see 5th of January there for that SCAG, 5th of January for this one, 5th of January. That one there, Sisters Performance Aitchison, was an original one that I set up at the beginning. So if I run up there, what's that? Performance Aitchison, the auto discovery agent, performance keywords exact, phrase and exact. So those were two of the originals, but you probably won't set those up when you first start. Discovery keywords. Yeah. So what was that? 4, maybe 5 campaigns in the initial setup. And then the expansion has been about scaling. It's not been about. So every other one that's come out has been maximizing the keywords that I've extracted from those starting campaigns.
That convert.
Put them in, yeah, absolutely. And putting them into campaigns where I can control the conversion better and I can scale the figures. And then when I want to scale again, as I said, I've duplicated against them. But chat has driven me into all of this. I wouldn't have been able to do this without the analytical capability that the AI gave me.
Amazing.
So, whilst I don't believe everything it says first time, and we have to, yeah. So.
JT, you're trying to get me to get rid of sweet chat.
Rob, the CPC, how do you know what to bid?
Chat
just tells you.
So I never ever go with Amazon's recommended. Always better to start lower than higher. When I've extracted a keyword, when you do the extraction, you can see the bids, how much it was bidding before, and therefore how much you think you need to be. If it's that good a keyword, you can go a little bit lower than the CPC it was doing on the auto and the discovery, because you know that that's a good keyword.
Okay.
It's a good keyword. It's obviously providing what Amazon are looking for as far as their optimization and your relevance. Yeah. So you can go a little bit lower. But this is why I say that you need to look at it probably about once a week, once a fortnight, because when you start winning, and then somebody else realizes that are trying to bid on the same keyword and then they're not winning, they start upping the bid. And sometimes you've got to chase that a little bit in order to keep yourself ahead. So hence why I look every week, because I can go, it takes me 20 minutes, as I said, to do a whole portfolio. So all of these 16 campaigns that are sat here, I'll do in 20 minutes, because it will only change maybe 1 or 2 things in the whole portfolio, and it will make a big difference. So it'll drive the spend back up again. And sometimes you can drive the spend back up just purely by changing the budget. You don't have to change anything else. You just increase the budget. Okay. It never spends what I put in the budget columns at all. I never go anywhere near $198 a day. Okay. But if I change that to 220, it will force spend against that campaign.
Okay.
I won't get anywhere near that 120, but it will force spend against it.
Okay.
At all of the PPCs that I bid and all of those things. Sometimes and I frighten myself sometimes when I add up the budget column.
The budget. And you think, imagine it started spending all of that.
Yeah, I'm committed to £1,200 a day, or $1,200 a day on Amazon alone. I'm lucky if it spends 40, 50.
Okay.
But it's funny how that works. I've got Facebook ads at the same thing. Sometimes they start to kind of die, as they call it, and then I just adjust the budget up or down, and like it begin, and then it wakes them up. Yeah, they're like, oh, we got work to do.
You get in that cycle with Meta as well, of course, where it says you put whatever the budget is in it, and it says that it will. So I never adjust the budget on Meta on a Friday or a Saturday.
Okay.
Because it says in the bottom that it will spend. I've got into a cycle where it moves the budget up and down. When you put Meta in, it says we won't spend any more than 7 times this budget in a week.
Yeah.
Some days it spends a lot less, and some days it spends a lot more than your day.
Yeah.
I'm in a cycle where it backs off on a Friday, and it spends a lot on a Saturday, and I have an amazing day on a Sunday. That's always the way my Meta curve looks. If I adjust it on a Friday, it spends all the money on the Friday, and I don't get the surge on a Saturday that then gives me the good Sunday. So I deliberately don't change the budgets on a Saturday.
Oh my goodness, that's such a good tip.
because
Yeah,
it
that's a very good tip.
affects that model.
Do you have any other Facebook tips while we are on the subject?
While we're here.
What do I do? I mean, as I said, I use Matthew's system, so I'm on that. I'm in that
Yeah.
spreadsheet. I actually go through that every day. I'm adjusting it up and down, my bids up and down every day, except for Fridays and Saturdays. I use 20% as my model. I start every advert off at £5 a day, and then I wait a week. I use the attribution link to then work out whether it's a profitable ad. And if it's started to make money and it says scale according with Matthew's sheet, then I start scaling at 20%. But I do that daily until except for the Friday and Saturday. Do it every day. So I've got one ad that's running at. Adina did a great talk in Seville about how she's got one ad that's running at.
Yes, that bloody ad.
Yeah.
The ad that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
Well, I tried her system, and her system didn't work for me because the ad I chose looked good and looked like it ought to allow me to step it up to 250 and then up to 500 and then up to 1,000. It looked like I should be able to do that. I got to 250 and it was doing okay. I put it up to 500 and we started losing money fairly quickly.
Damn.
I had to cut it then, and it was probably a really good ad and would have worked better if I'd have kept it in my system. But having broken it, I then had to ditch it.
Oh, shame.
So what I do is scale 100%. I scale up and down 20% every day if it's in the bracket, and I plot them all out on graphs, and I can see the movement.
So you're adjusting budget daily?
Yeah.
Wow.
Up or down. I've got a little table in the back of the notebook. Sharing that and share my screen again.
In a notebook? This is new. What happened to Excel?
Because I need the two screens, so I've got a little thing that is the 20% up or down.
Yes.
Okay.
Starting at £5, and then so I've got an ad at the moment that's up at 275.36. Okay. I was talking to Mataras and Pablo in Seville, and they said, "Well, why do you put 245 or whatever it was, 75.36? Why the 36p?" And I said, "Well," and this is the mathematician in me, I said that 36p, if I keep scaling that 36p, it will be £4 extra in 3-4 days' time. And I want, if it's working that well, I want to be maximising the spend to get the return. Whereas if it's not working well, then I want to be cutting by exactly 20 without affecting the algorithm, but keeping that precision on the scaling and the scaling back. So
I like it. I like the precision. Rob, with Facebook, just one more question about Facebook. With targeting, what is your philosophy on that at the moment? Because there are so many different ideas out there. Nicholas Eric says you have to test your targets. What do you do?
I don't. I fire very broadly. I don't target on Mecca. I'm absolutely broad.
Gender, age.
No, not even category. I go women, country, age, and that's it. I don't bother with anything else. If it doesn't work that broad, I have used the synthetic audience and asked it to come up with 10 ads, and we're trialing some of those for the first time at the moment. And they have taken us down some different paths. I've got 3 ads out in the UK and the US. 2 of them are working really well in the US. One's working really well in the UK. The others I've cut because they've gone 2 weeks without producing the return that I wanted.
Okay. And what kind of CPC and ROI are you happy with Facebook ads?
So happy with, so I set both, because we run our business like a business, I know exactly how much money I need to be in profit every month in order to meet all of our bills and to give Bevan a lifestyle that we enjoy. So I hope for at least 60%, but we're planned with our advertising spend for 30%.
Okay.
So worst case, we can get through with a 30% ROI, and we're not eating into our companies. Whereas if we hit 60 and over, and if I'm brutally honest, we're normally sitting up around the 85% mark. I've got publisher.
You've got to have that minimum. You kind of got to know where this is it. This is the bare minimum.
Yeah. And if I've got the bare minimum, then I'm a happy chap and I'm smiling all the time.
Yes, absolutely. And the rest is cream.
Yeah.
And you take Friday off.
So my April ROI was 85%, with Amazon running at 100.
Okay.
Amazon at 190%.
Oh.
Publisher champ. I love the little.
Yes, I also love it. Delport, are you on Publisher Champ?
Oh, what?
Oh my goodness.
Sorry, you guys been gatekeeping this whole time.
No, you have to be.
What is Publisher Champ?
Just look at it today. You have to use Publisher Champ. No question.
I'm going to put it on my Trello board.
Actually, I use 2. I use Publisher Champ because I love the app on my phone, but I also use the Author Helper Suite, which used to be Reader Links.
Okay. Okay.
Because in the author helper suite, I love the big display. I love my graphs and my numbers and bits and pieces. I started with Author Helper Suite. I came across Publisher Champ and loved the app. I actually prefer Author Helper Suite on my big screen when I can look at the weeklies and break it down. It's got some great pages on it that allow me to look at advertising spend individually against books, and you can tie them all together in series. I can also group mine, because the problem we've got is that Bev's sisters, the Shackelford sisters books, are 9 books in series, but then there is the Shackelford Legacies, which are the children of the sisters. Because they're the children of the sisters, we don't advertise the Legacies. I'm using read through from the sisters into the Legacies, so it's actually like having a 13, 14 book series as opposed to a 9 book series. On Publisher Champ, it only recognises them as I can't link those 2 series as being the same.
No. Okay.
Whereas on Reader Links, I've got separate groupings that I can pull all of those together. So the same on Reader Links, the contemporary series is 7 books, and then there's a 3-book Cozy Mystery spin-off.
Yeah.
But we don't advertise the Cozy Mystery spin-off. It's just read through from the others. So I group all of those together.
Okay.
And I'm looking at the advertising that I'm doing for them as a group, as opposed to just the 7 books, because they're all tied in together.
Why do you use both Reader Links and Publisher Champ?
Because I'm a numbers geek and I like it. There's things I love about both of them, and I love so much about both of them. And I started with Reader Links, so there's a little bit of my go-to
Nostalgia.
Yes.
And it's my comfort blanket. And we've also, all of the links that are in our website are Reader Links links. So I don't want to, until I can go in and sort the site back out again. And there's never enough hours in the day, is there, for any of us? So I can go back in and change those over to different links. Then I don't want to sacrifice and I love author. I do like one displays. So, and I've never been, it's a bit like reading the news. I never read just one paper for one article. I'll read it across 3 different papers. They've all got a different view on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like to compare and contrast, the 2 and be able to see how they're displayed. My one bugbear with Publisher Champ is when they put the All-Star bonus on and they apply it to the 15th of the month.
Oh, do they?
Completely affects the graph that you see. So if I'm using trends, any of the trend lines, after I've got
the trend line,
14th of the next month, if I'm trying to look at the previous month, it's applied the All-Star bonus, and then the trend line is completely shot because the middle of the month has this massive peak in it, and the trend is then thrown all over the place.
Okay. We need to send a message to the management.
Yeah. Well, I talked to them, and I talked to them in Ireland, and they've done something that I asked for them to do in Ireland, because I like the advertising, to see the advertising over 7 days, because we definitely have a better day Friday, Saturday, Sunday. In fact, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and our best 2 days are Monday.
Yes.
I'm guessing that by demographic. I'm guessing that people read on a Saturday, or on a Sunday, they get really excited on a Sunday, they read into a Monday as well. So too. And because our biggest market is America, we end up with a lot coming in from there. I like to be able to see a full 7 days, because my worst days of the week are Wednesday, Thursday. Well, if I'm comparing a Wednesday to a Thursday, well, it's not really telling me anything. But if I'm comparing the whole week to the previous week, then it is telling me something.
Exactly.
So I asked them to put in a comparison week to week, as opposed to a comparison month to month and day to day, which is what they currently have. And they've got the little toggle switch, so you can so you're not trying to compare today against yesterday when today hasn't finished yet, but you can compare the 2 previous days.
Yes.
What they've also done is put in that so that you can now do it by the week on one of the other screens, which I need it on the main computer.
Okay.
On one of the other screens, so you can see weekly, and you can go back 4, 5, 6 weeks and see how it's trended over those 6-week period.
Brilliant. Just makes it so much easier, doesn't it?
Well, and I don't think advertising is a day-by-day business. It's a week-by-week.
Yes.
You can't do it day by day. I mean, I scale
anything in a day.
Day by day, but I'm looking back over 3 weeks, or 2 weeks, or I don't like to look back over 2 weeks when I'm using attributions, because that last 2 weeks is not brilliant, or it's the full picture. But I look at least sort of 3 to 4 weeks back, and that's how I'm basing my scaling. Sometimes I close that window right down and go, the last 2 days have been really rubbish. Scaling this one, even though it's telling me to, because it had a great day 4 weeks ago.
Yeah. When you look at attribution data, do you have any multipliers? Some people multiply the sales income by 2, and let's say the reads by 5 just to get a better idea of what the ad is actually making you? Because, obviously they can't report
Everything.
100% of the income.
So I do a couple of things. I have the first spreadsheet I have that I fill out first thing every morning, where I basically take, and this is where I use reader links the most actually, is I take my sales for the day for yesterday in total, split down into those groups: diaries, sisters, by country. So that's how many tabs. I've got 7 different groupings there. I've got UK diaries, USA diaries, UK sisters, USA sisters, Australia sisters, German sisters, and Spanish sisters. So that's my.
It's a lot of sisters.
Well, sisters is the regency. So many different countries. I've got Um, what what I end up doing is going into those and pulling them out to make sure that they're still performing, as it were. I put the Facebook spend in, and I put the Amazon spend in, and I work out the ROASs for Amazon and Facebook, plot them out on a graph, and it all appears on the screen, and I can see whether Facebook is trending up, trending down. What I do is I make one massive assumption in there that all the sales for that day that aren't attributed to Amazon are attributed to Facebook.
Okay.
Okay.
With the exception of where I'm running display screen, because for display screen, I can see how many sales the split display screen has claimed.
Okay.
So your Facebook is taking on a lot of like your social media perhaps, or your wherever, if it's coming from out. Okay.
Except that our main social media, our TikTok social media, sends us to the website. And because it sends to the website, I can track the reader links out of the website back. I can see if it's gone that route, whereas we don't send anything to the Amazon page directly from the TikTok. But mainly because we're experimenting with TikTok all the time, and our merch is all on our website. So the merchandising, I want people to go past the merchandising. So that's why. But yeah, so I track all of that data. That gives me an indication on how I'm feeling about that particular system, and I then go into Matthew's system, put it through, and if it says that I was moving up with Meta as far as my other spreadsheet was concerned, then I'll start on that graph, and I'll start looking at the what I'm going to do with when I then go into Matthew's sheet, and then I use the figures on Matthew's sheet. And I have adjusted those slightly.
You've got such a huge backlist. So even if you were to lose money on selling book 1, you would still be in a healthy profit.
I never make money on book 1. So I work on, it's a system of sale. We work on the read through. It's why we didn't start advertising any of the German books until we had 5 books out.
Yes.
On Meta, I was advertising on Amazon, but I didn't advertise on Meta until I had 5 books out, and we made profit straight away. We've always worked on 5 books being the profit point. So on my ROAS information on Matthew's sheet, it allows you to go in and play around with the less than, betweens, and more than figures. So I scale up if I'm more than 50%. I let it run if it's 25 to 50%, and I cut it if it's less than 25%.
Okay.
Okay. That's nice. And you kind of have those clear lines.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do love his system. I started Meta advertising using Matthew's system in 2025, when Meta seemed to, from October 24, when Meta seemed to be all over the place. And if I'm brutally honest, we blamed a lot of the initial change there, not on the Meta algorithm changing, but entirely on political circumstances at the time, what was going on in the world. And I still see that dip. When something big's happened and the readers don't seem to read that day, and people get too involved. And Facebook also went through a phase, particularly during elections and other stuff, stuff going on in the UK as far as the chancellor's budgets and whatever. I do see a political element to book sales, Well, the way we look at it now is that, everybody needs a feel-good moment, and Bev's books provide those. So then that's an opportunity to get in there as well. So I that's why I like to look at it over a week rather than anything more than that. But yeah, because I worked my way back to Matthew's system, I like the way, he comes across. I find the actual advertising simple. Bev and I talk about the creative line. I have absolutely nothing to do with the creation of it. None of it whatsoever. I don't even choose what I'm going to wear every day. That bad. Bev has to veto everything.
So you wear
When
the
we-
pants in the relationship, but she chooses which pants you're allowed to wear.
and that's
Oh, I love that.
that when we go on holiday, I don't even know what clothes have gone in the suitcase.
Oh, I would love that.
I was rubbish at dressing myself. I have to admit it. And we had a conversation where
Well, you can't be good at everything, Rob.
I know. I'm good with numbers. The creative element doesn't work for me. So Bev and Frankie produce all of the creatives. They give me the package. I push it in for the system, and then I run the numbers, and I decide whether it gets scaled or. So we often have a discussion that goes. So which is Top Hat Man doing really well? No idea. Which number is that? She goes,
Yeah.
I've numbered the adverts in my system. I know that number 21 is doing absolutely brilliantly. She said, number 21. I said, I have no idea. I didn't. So we sometimes have to sit down in front of the screen where I can actually show what the adverts are, so she can see which ones are doing well. And I do think that has got a big part to Meta's targeting now. Obviously, they send the adverts based on that creative, and the image is everything. Absolutely. And the synthetic audience discussion has given us some. We got very stovepipe, or every so often we get very stovepipe. When something works really well, we keep pushing something in a similar vein back out again.
Yes.
Sometimes you need to broaden back out again and go. So the country house idea came out of synthetic audience, and because of that, and that's probably our best advert at the moment.
Oh wow! Okay.
So it just gave us that nudge to open back out again and try something different. So, and I know I bigged his course up, but Matthew's course, his discussion about broadening and about that creative and that whole piece in his system is very good. Every so often I have to get Frankie and Bev to sit down when they've got stovepiped and watch that. Well, I think it is. Watch that again, sweetheart, and then give me some adverts and that.
Yeah. Well, AI just helps so much with that, doesn't it? It just gives you so many new angles. Talk about Matthew Holmes. Have you done his BookBub course?
No,
BookBub ads.
Not yet. I've got it written on my list of things to do.
I would highly recommend it. It's definitely worked for me. He seems to think that it works on full price books, and he keeps saying it in the course over and over again. And I believed him, but it didn't work for me. But it works so well on discounted books and free books. The conversion rate is incredible.
Right.
The CPCs are very high, but because the conversion is so good, it kind of makes it kind of costs the same as Facebook ads. So highly recommend. And I think because you like the way he works and operates, I think you'll like his course. And I mean, it's a similar thing. You put the numbers in a spreadsheet and it tells you whether to scale or not. I think you'll like it.
Great.
And BookBub and romance. I mean, you could find a new audience there.
Well, I think our biggest. I mean, we obviously get an awful lot of Amazon Kindle, being entirely within KU. We get an awful lot of the Amazon Kindle monthly deals and daily deals, weekly deals, and actually, so the books are being discounted all the time. We only ever accept the first, sometimes the second in series, but mostly the first in series for each of the series, because we don't see the point in discounting something that is 3 books in when you need to have read 1 and 2. But when those are discounted, then absolutely we maybe should just
when I get a BookBub or I run any kind of price promo now, I always put at least 4 or 5 BookBub ads on it just to keep it up in the ranks. And after my last BookBub, I was able to keep my orange bestseller tag for I think 4 weeks.
Brilliant.
Oh, that was the smart. That's when you held the price low, hey?
Yeah, you
what I didn't do, silly me. If
James,
only I listened to
can't be good at
JT.
everything.
I was about to say, one of the things that we discussed at the end of our keynote speech in Seville was the fact that you make the best decisions based on the information you have available at the time. None of us are bad at making these decisions. That's the whole point. We're very clever. Everybody's a clever person, but invariably when you make a poor decision, it's not because it was a poor decision. It was just you didn't have
at the time.
The right knowledge at the time. Yeah.
I mean, we've made decisions that we look back and go, oh, that was a bit silly. I can remember sitting there and going, no, this is the best thing for us right now. If we don't do this, then, and so we have to beat ourselves up over making one of those points.
Absolutely. No point in any of that.
No, just have to get back out of the mess that we got ourselves into. That's all.
Yes. I think the thing is you always ask, what's next? What's next? So if you have a spectacular success, what's next? If
Yeah.
spectacular failure, it's the same thing. What's next?
What's next?
And knowing, and this is what I was saying about the ROAS, we know what our minimum baseline is. So we never beat ourselves up if we have a dip week, provided it stayed above the minimum. It doesn't really matter. We'll just build back up from there.
Yeah.
And so turnover, Bev's dad's favorite saying was turnover is vanity, profit is sanity. So,
I like that.
So, we keep the turnover high to make sure the profit is high, but it's the profit we're actually looking at, not the turnover.
Yes.
Absolutely. It's also good to read Delport, if you haven't read it, is Profit First. It's just a really good book to read when you're taking your business seriously and you actually want to extract value from your company to live the life you want to live, instead of working yourself into the ground and making a really successful company, but you never actually see the rewards. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's called Profit First. I have one more question. I'm sorry that we've kept you so long. It's been an hour and a half already. I'm sure a lot of people haven't heard of lock screen ads, also known as DSP ads. You can't do them on your own. You need to go through an agency, or in your case, you were able to do them on your own. So can you just explain for someone who's never heard of them what they are and how you got so lucky that you are able to run them yourself?
I don't actually run them myself. I run them through Amazon. So I have an actual Amazon advertiser in the UK.
Yes.
That it came about because because Bev is so big in America, she got nominated an account manager within Amazon in America.
Okay.
And the account manager, I approached the account manager and said, look, I need some help with Amazon advertising. And I was hoping that was going to be, I'd heard of lock screen, but I hadn't really thought that we were in that market, as it were. So I ended up being introduced to this Amazon advertiser, and she said, well, yeah, you'd be perfect for lock screen. And she said, well, I can do it for you. So she took on doing that. And so I liaise with her. She works for Amazon. I don't have to pay any margin to them. I don't pay any front. I don't pay any.
That's amazing.
They take I have to give them a massive budget. So there is a
Okay.
split between two sets of advertising. There is the old Kindle lock screen, which is just a black and white image that goes on the old style Kindles,
Yes.
which appears on the lock screen. I give them the keywords and we agree the creative. That creative is normally just a book cover with, and then a buy now button on the front. So as they open it up, it takes them to the buy now screen. And then the Fire tablets, so they're newer Fire tablet Kindles. The color ones have animated ones that are just have a little bit of animation. So it's clouds moving in the background, or in our particular case, it's a carriage moving on a roadway in front of a house.
Okay.
And that's a color one, and that has a buy now button in exactly the same way, and that's pushed out as well. So that's how I ended up in the US. And then what happened was I attend a lot of stuff for Kindle. They asked Bev to be at the London Book Fair on one of the panels that was sponsored by the Kindle team. And she was on the stand at there as well. And they had the equivalent Amazon advertiser in the UK. And I discussed with her, and she said, well, there are lots of other people, who do them. And then I might have been a little bit sneaky. And I then set up a meeting with my US advertiser and this lady in the UK. And said, wouldn't it be great if we did a trial to see how it works in the UK and the US? We could use exactly the same creative, so you wouldn't need to do anything in the UK. You could just, use them, set it up and do all of this. What sort of budget would you want? Yeah, we'll agree to that budget. And so I coerced.
Wow.
Doing the same. So
And do you have to create that video of the carriage?
No. We've given them the image. So I've given them the image and I've picked the best meta images that we've used in our meta. And they've then done the animation of that meta image and turned it into
Excellent. Well done. That's a very good example of making your own luck here. I was thinking, Rob,
Yeah.
but you made that happen.
I kind of put people on the spot, yeah. But what I didn't get from Amazon was anybody to help me with the Amazon advertising.
But you sorted that out, so that's fine.
Which is why I then had to turn to my and hopefully get and they've done a great job. So
Rob, thank you so much. It's been amazing. Do you have anything that you think that we haven't touched on that you think is important to share?
Yes, I'm not available to anybody else who keeps asking me.
Do not
I am
slide
very-
into Rob's DMs, people.
I am absolutely delighted to discuss with anybody who wants to, and you know the various chat groups that I am now. I feel honoured to have been invited to, because even though I'm not an author, I seem to have something that's
Oh, we all love you, Rob. You guys
Um,
make such a beautiful team. We love you.
but the joy of this is that, you know, we're all in this together. I think in the indie world, and that's made me feel, you know, I've been made to feel very welcome despite having not a creative bone in my body. So
So glad.
happy to give back.
The math guy. They're like, there goes the math guy.
He's the math guy, but he's also the submarine guy.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
There are
But
too
hold on.
many titles in here now. Being a submariner doesn't make me a bad person.
Thank you so much for everything.
Yes,
Delport,
I'm so
do you have
grateful.
anything else to ask? Or?
No, you know, when Delport's brain has exploded, then I go quiet, and then I'm like thinking, and I know I'm gonna have to watch this back about 17
Yes.
to get my strategy. I'll pull chunks of it. I'll farm for like what I need,
Yes.
and then it's a lot to take in when it's a new platform like this. And because I'm so not familiar with the AMS platform at all, a lot of it sounds so foreign, and so. But I remember thinking this about Facebook ads about 8 months ago, and I do think that it's so important to have an ecosystem when it comes to your marketing. In case you have a problem, we just discussed in the episode before how I've had a problem with Facebook and my bank don't like each other. So my bank flags it as fraud, and then Facebook says, well, your card's gammy. And I'm like, what happens if, like, how many cards can you have before you? So I think it is good to have other avenues. At the moment, all my eggs are in the Facebook basket, and I think it can be a little bit dangerous to have that.
And that's exactly why we started in 2024 when Facebook. I could do no wrong in Facebook in 2024. I maybe worked on it 2 hours a week. Every ad I threw up made me money.
Those are the days.
Bev was looking at small islands to buy in. You know, it was absolutely, it was one of those golden times. But it made us so complacent.
Yes.
We farmed out the Amazon advertising to somebody else, and I hadn't really looked at it properly, you know. And so eventually, having watched what happened during 2025 Meta, that's why I worked so hard at the end of the year to really get Amazon to make it work properly. The thing I love about Amazon advertising is it's profitable. You just can't get it to spend a lot of money. So it's always giving me that baseline. I force it sometimes to make a bit more, but we've got enough from Amazon advertising to live happily. Follow on to that is that Meta then gives me the profit to go on holiday, have a nice car and all of that sort of stuff.
Yes.
So that bit I can live without if I'd really needed to. But
if you had to, yes.
I think Amazon has got such a stable position. It's never going to run away with you, but it's never going to make you a millionaire. But what it's going to do is give you that proper baseline support that you potentially.
Yes.
Love it.
Fabulous.
Thanks so much.
Oh,
Rob, we had to do
thank you
the
so
awkward
much,
wave
Rob.
when
Yes.
you say goodbye, I'm afraid. I don't know why Delport started it, but
It started and now it's a thing. And when we say goodbye, we have to do it. But don't worry, we'll lead you right through it. Are you ready? And from me, a huge thank you, Rob. I can't actually tell you how steep this learning curve is for me. And it's people like you, honestly, that are just like, I find it difficult. JT reads all the books and I have a very short concentration span. So when we have conversations like this, it's so nice and it's recorded and I can go back and I can listen again, you know. So I'm very, very grateful to you for coming on. Thank you.
Thanks, Rob.
Okay, are you
Enjoy the rest of
ready?
your
Deep
day.
breath. Okay. Bye.
I don't know about you, Delport, but I'm feeling a bit more confident about AMS now. I used to do a lot of AMS and I did have a positive ROI for a long time, but it just took up so much time. And I hadn't yet written my urban fantasy book, so I didn't have that much to sell. So now that I have a much bigger backlist and I have Rob's advice and Ricardo Fayette, thank you very much, Ricardo, and these tips, I think I will be able to do it on my own and it won't take that much time. So I'm going to start really small and simple and give it a go. I'm quite excited and motivated.
I think I've seen that pattern that I tend to not leave things long enough. And Charlene has always said this. Charlene's had great success with AMS ads, and she doesn't look at her ads for years. She's like in the episode when he did mention that they'd outsourced it, and then they discovered that the people hadn't touched the ads. That's I think is a bit of a winning formula because Charlene doesn't touch her ads. She says the only reason she knows that they're working is if she turns them off, her income does this.
Yes.
So she just leaves them, and they just, I don't know if Amazon's just a bit more intuitive, or if it's because it's going to a hot reader audience, you kind of can't fail as much in terms of who's clicking. Because,
And I
it's
do
very
think-
clear book. It's a streamlined process, isn't it?
If you have an auto ad going, that's Amazon making the decision where to send the thing. So an auto doesn't really decay over time. It's just
Yes.
using the updated system all the time. So in theory, auto ads should last a very long time.
Yes. Yes. So I'm very keen to start, but to start very small because, as always, Melissa is hamstrung by her budget. And obviously, I've increased my Facebook spend. I scaled quite a lot this month. So I'm back in that, like, gotta wait 90 days again.
Yes.
But
you're getting
I
such a
mean,
good return that, like, a no-brainer. You've got to scale slowly, but steadily.
yes, and just keep scaling. I'm super, super excited about everything that's happening. And it's just nice to know that this is something I could potentially afford. I am very excited to film our strategy session because I have like stuff I want to ask you about setting up a business. Like there's a bunch of stuff there. So I think that is our next episode that we are filming, is it not?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. And we
I
are
was
going to
looking at the
stick to that.
time, like,
Well, we will make that call after we've said goodbye to the lovely
okay.
people. Goodbye, lovely people. And again, a huge thank you to Vellum, the ebook and book formatting software we could not live without. We, truly would not be putting books on the internet half as easily without them. So thank you, Vellum.
Thank you, Bellum.
Okay. Bye, friend.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, push stop. We did it. That's